Hey Whitewater, my name is Joe and I'm on staff here at Whitewater, lead the creative teams, and I am here today to bring you a Daily Dose of Hope DIY at Home edition. And this week we're just trying to bring you a little bit of hope and help you win at home. And so I'm bringing you today a DIY with projects around the house. And I know with the additional time that most of us have at home, maybe we're tackling a few more projects. Maybe you've got some extra time and you're looking for some ideas. So that's what this video is for. One of my favorite things to do with projects around the house is take old stuff and kind of recycle them into something new. I'm not a carpenter, I'm not skilled in any way, but I like to just mess around and try to create stuff. So that's one of my favorite things. It kind of reminds me of what God does with us and He's done with humanity throughout history, is kind of upcycle us. He takes something that's broken and makes it new again. He takes something that's dead and gives it new life. And so I like to find materials and do that. I feel like it kind of represents that. There's this ancient book called Psalms, and in chapters 107, a lot of talk about being in the desert and how God rescued His people out of the desert and they were tired and lonely. And maybe that's the way you feel right now. You feel a little bit lonely and separated and you feel like you're in a desert. But God wants to redeem that. That word redeem is literally like take and make new again. And so I just want to encourage you today that God wants to redeem the things in your life that maybe feel like you're in a desert, but He wants to make something new again. So let's get to it. Let's make something new. Okay, so I had a project planned and don't have the materials for it. So I'm going to show you all a couple of at-home projects that I've done in the past using found materials, including this lamp. So this lamp, actually, this base, I think is some sort of like gas pipe thing. I actually pulled it out of the dumpster when we were building our new phase at Whitewater. And so it got pulled out of an old part of the building and thrown in the dumpster. So I yanked it out. Yeah, I'll just show you a couple of the features of it. Okay, so I have this bulb on the top here. It's actually from an old light that used to be hanging. So this pipe basically had a hole up here in the top, and so I just kind of threw that on top there. The cord for the existing lamp goes down all the way to the bottom here, and then I spliced it together with another cord, a lamp cord that has a nice little button on it, so then we can actually turn it on and turn it off, because it usually would be hardwired. So there's some YouTube videos that can show you how to splice wires and use wire nuts to take an old lamp cord and put it together with another light. So that's what I did for that. Obviously I painted it black, kind of a matte black thing. So then we're left with just kind of this funky lamp type thing that's been upcycled from some sort of gas pipe thing. So I'll show you the second lamp. All right, here's the second lamp. This is hanging off of some old wood that I got at this reused place. So what I did is just mounted that piece of wood to the top, ran the cord through, drilled a hole through it, came down into this little guy. So this is actually an old fan out of my HVAC unit. So HVAC guy had to replace a part and that was sitting down there. So I hung on to it and I knew I could use it for something. So it's got a little hole in the top here. So I ran just a butterfly screw up through there to hold it, and then using wire to let it hang. Just an old, I think this is like an IKEA lamp. And again, I was able to splice the cord into something that could plug in. Usually a couple of YouTube videos helps me do that. So then we're left with just kind of a unique little lamp, again, from old materials that ordinarily would have thrown away, make something kind of cool. All right, and here's the last thing, just a little side table for the living room. And so I've actually just grabbed this wood from a recycle place. It's nice and thick, but it's actually kind of like a press board, and I'll show you the details of it in a second. But essentially I ordered these off of Amazon, just these little metal legs, and then screwed them into the bottom of this plank. So what we're left with is just kind of a slightly modern plus some old wood kind of feegle. I kind of like it. It's got all this kind of texture, all the saw marks on the actual wood itself. And then again, underneath is just screwed in It's got 2 mounts, so if you have a wider piece, you could do that. I think these metal pieces were like $15. It wasn't much. And I got the wood, of course, dirt cheap. I just got long planks, and I've kind of used that to make a second one as well. So hopefully spurred just a couple of ideas for you to try at your house with some of your extra time. And don't be afraid to try things, break things, and just experiment. And anything that you can do to pull things that were once kind of forgotten and unused and create kind of a new life for it, just like God has done for us. So thank you for tuning in for this Daily Dose of Hope. Have a great week.